have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to be, who you're going to be, who you're going to be.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all going to be about making a vision board, and I guess kind of specifically for the rest of this year. Though the timeframes can kind of vary, but my one specifically, I really want to make it for the final 6 months of 2021. We all know it's been a pretty interesting time, I think, since like 2020 and everything that's happened. So I just really wanted to reaffirm and reset some of my goals now that we're coming up to July and what will be the end 6 months of the year. So I really am glad that you guys are joining me on this and that you're really into vision boards as well. It's one of my favorite things to do, visualizing things and kind of really printing them out and putting them on paper. I obviously do understand that vision boards can definitely be digital as well if you prefer to have it as like your computer screensaver or your phone background or something like that. But this one in particular for me is going to be a physical hard copy version of my vision board. I am a highly visual person, so I really love to see things like right in front of me that I've created, and I can kind of get all the pictures and the quotes and things and put them all together. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I thought I would just kind of talk through my process of how I do this. It has definitely been probably a few years since I've made a traditional printed vision board. I usually just kind of gather images and screenshots and quotes and things and refer back to them, but this is something a little bit more specific and tangible that I really want to create. So let's get started and we'll get into the first topic, which is what goes on a vision board. So to me, a vision board is a collection of images, whether that be magazine clippings, pictures you've found on Pinterest or Instagram. They could be quotes and motivational things. This first step I think is really important because it's about defining your goals and trying to get specific about what those might be and what actionable steps you could take to achieve them. Another question that is really common when it comes to vision boards is how long will it take? And I think a vision board is definitely a really personal thing in that respect. It is something that you could keep up on your wall for a year, 5 years, whatever it is, and you could do a version where you either pin the items on and keep taking them off, or have a digital version where you can kind of check things off and delete them and replace with some other imagery, or you can just have a hard copy printed version for that time frame. So I think getting a time frame in mind, whether that be a monthly one, 6 monthly in my case, or a year, 5 years, any of these categories, and you kind of place them all onto the board as something to just be a representation of goals that you're working towards. So I think a huge part of this is really just learning to trust the process and know that things will kind of happen in their own time, and we can definitely take actionable steps towards achieving our goals, but things seem to kind of fall into place when you are really working on yourself, working towards these goals. And I think the saying that timing is everything is so incredibly true, and I've really seen this for myself, that things come to you when you're ready to receive them. So how do you brainstorm your ideal life? Well, I broke mine down into a bunch of different categories, and whether that be love and relationships, friendships, well-being, healthy eating, exercise, career-orientated goals, general lifestyle goals, travel, all of these kinds of things. And it's definitely going to look different for everyone, and that is the best part about your vision board. It doesn't need to be super aesthetic or luxurious or any of these things. It's just whatever really is sitting on your heart and what really aligns with you and what you're kind of aiming towards as a picture of your future life. So for example, somebody might be looking towards a material kind of goal, like a new car, whereas somebody else might be looking towards a more lifestyle goal, like having more time with their family or working from home 1 day a week. And these things are all so personal to the individual, and that's why I think it is really great to be able to visualize your own goals, because when we're kind of endlessly scrolling through Instagram and looking at other people's lives, it is really easy to get sidetracked and think, that person has this or they've got that and I kind of want this in my life. And realistically, it's a self-to-self comparison, and I think it's really important to, like I said, look within and gain your goals from who you are and what it is that really truly speaks to you and where you see your life going. My last tip is to just be as specific as possible. So for example, if it was to be about working from home, how many days a week are you doing that? Is it just 1 day, 2 days, full time? Are you not working at all? Have you developed some passive income? And how can you kind of speak to yourself in a present tone of mind? That is, I am working from home 2 days a week and I go to the cafe in the morning and I work for 3 hours and that is my life. And finding some pictures, images, and quotes that really align with this idea. So that being said, let's get into step number 1, which is my journaling and writing down a massive brain dump mind map of all of the ideas that I've got across all of those categories. And while I'm doing that, I really love to put on a upbeat playlist. So I just jump on Spotify, find a playlist of some of my favorite songs, and I put that on while I find a really nice space in my home where I'm sitting down and just writing through all of these different ideas. So I think it's really good to do this because it starts to assist you in dismantling any limiting beliefs you've got about the things that you can kind of have in your future. Another part of this process is really breaking it down into chunks, and that is to do with the time frame and how I can have these goals be manageable across that specific time frame. So it's kind of like what specifically and how specifically, and then how I can start to integrate some of these actionable steps into my daily life and routines so that it's actually going to happen. The next step for me is to jump on Pinterest. This is my favorite place for gathering imagery that really inspires me. So I will leave my Pinterest link down below if you're interested in grabbing some of the images that you're going to see on my vision board, and maybe it'll help you get kick-started with creating the different categories of boards for your own as well. So I hope you guys find that really helpful. But some of the different categories I've got include event inspiration, home inspiration, photo shoot inspiration for some of my Instagram content. I've got travel inspiration of places that I want to go. There's office inspiration for my home work setup. I have future home things like bathroom inspiration. There is branding, fitness, style. I've got a bunch of inspirational quotes and things to live by. There's healthy food, which is absolutely one of my favorite categories. I'm really into making delicious, healthy meals. There is things about content planning, and that kind of summarizes my Pinterest board. So then I spend a bit of time whenever I have spare time, really, whether that be on my commute or in the evenings, and I just gather all of the imagery I can that has to do with that dream life. And then now I'm going to dump those all into a collage in a Microsoft Word document, pop them on a USB, and head down to Officeworks so I can print them all off. So let's get going. Okay, this is so funny. It feels like I'm doing a show and tell or something with like a school project that I'm heavily invested in. So bear with me because I'm gonna go through the sections of my vision board, which is kind of what I just gave you guys the overview of. But I really, really love this. I enjoy this. It energizes me. It's what I love. And it's kind of just the best visual brain dump of everything that I want for the picture of who I want to be on a piece of paper. And I don't want to be embarrassed about that. I don't want to pretend there's certain things I don't want or that I'm not interested in. This is such a personal representation of me, and yeah, I am sharing that with you guys, and I think your own vision board is your own. You may want to share it and pin it up on a wall, or it might be something that you really want to keep quite private and just work on those things and chip away at it. So let's go through all of the little sections that I put down, and I can show you the pictures I found. And if you're into any of these pictures, I did put them all on my Pinterest account, and they're all in a really organized kind of different categories and things like that. So you're welcome to go there and grab any of these pins and add it to your own boards as well. So the sections I've got that I made for myself. So this top corner one is personal style. So I put a bunch of pictures there of just like, you know, different outfits, and a lot of them are really neutral toned. And that's because I've been trying to build up like my staple wardrobe. And I did a video on that maybe 2 weeks ago now. And it's really just about developing my own personal style for things that suit my body, that make me comfortable, make me feel good, and just a way to really effortlessly look put together. And that kind of involves just being able to reach in my wardrobe and know that all of those clothes in there are things that I love. They tell a story, they're good quality, and they suit my personal style. The next one I put on here is this one down here, and that is romance. So I just put a couple of pictures of couples and a few quotes and things like that. But there's a little quote, and it says, "Be the reason someone feels welcomed, seen, heard, valued, loved, and supported." So for me in my relationship, I've been with my partner for about 2 years now, and it's just the best relationship I've ever been in. Honestly, we are a really good match for each other, and both just two very thoughtful people. So it's really, really nice. And he can be very romantic and really listens to things that I say. So I just wanted to put this here to remind me that, you know, relationships can kind of fall by the wayside sometimes when we get really busy. And I just always want a little reminder that those little moments that we spend together, whether it's just a picnic in the park or planning an actual date or a dinner or something, are really important, and they definitely deserve a priority place in my life and on my vision board as well. So this other section down here is the most colorful and fun section on the entire board, and that's all about like healthy eating. So I grabbed a bunch of Pinterest things, and I actually made a beautiful recipe this week. It was like a coconut and turmeric kind of like a larksery soup type thing, and that was just from a Pinterest recipe, and it was absolutely amazing and also so healthy and nourishing as well. So that's something that I really focused on during lockdown. I kind of just honed a lot of my cooking skills, and because I don't really like eating takeaway food too much, I would just always constantly experiment, and I would say to my partner, like, "You're the guinea pig for tonight because I've never made this thing before, and I'm just going to give it a go." And more often than not, I feel like it just turns out really well, because cooking for me is kind of weirdly like a form of meditation, and I just really enjoy standing there and like taking my mind off everything. I don't listen to a podcast or anything while I'm cooking. I literally just cook, be in the moment, be paying attention to like all of the different elements and things that are going on. And yeah, it's just something that I really, really enjoy. So I just wanted to prioritize kind of always looking for the healthy options and things that are really nourishing for my body, and kind of enjoying my meal planning and things for all of the weeks and seasons. The next one that I have here is friendships and socializing. So I just put some really cute pictures of girls doing fun activities together and catching up for drinks and all of those kinds of things. And I had a little quote there as well, which says, "Don't adapt to the energy in the room, influence the energy in the room." And I also have one that says, "Be such a beautiful soul that people crave your vibes." And I just love this because I think, you know, playing games and having fun and going out for drinks with the girls and all of those things are like so important to me. And it's something that when you all get into relationships and you kind of are moving on in your life with your partner, that doesn't kind of get those priorities. So actually tomorrow night I have a dinner with a bunch of my girlfriends from the gym, and I'm so excited for it. And I absolutely love that we have a little WhatsApp chat where everyone keeps in touch. So that is a huge priority for me. And I'm also walking with another girlfriend on Friday. So even just doing this was a real reminder to me to make sure that I'm reaching out as well, because of course, as we all know, friendship is a two-way street. So it's good to not sort of always wait for people to come to you, and realize like sometimes you have to reach out and go to them. So the other one that I've got here is working from home. So working from home is definitely something that I was privileged enough to do during COVID. And I guess we've literally just come out from a lockdown yet again. So I'm still working at home full time, but so the next one I've got here is working from home. So that is this top category here. And working from home is something that I was privileged enough to do during COVID because I maintained my role full time the entire time that that was kind of going on here in Melbourne. And of course, I am still working at home full time at the moment because there's limited capacity in offices and things, but I will be going back in next week a few days. So working from home, I had never done before because it's literally just unheard of in the architectural industry. Like they never let you work from home, and we obviously have a lot of paperwork and require really big computers and things to run our 3D software. So it just wasn't like feasible essentially. But I guess because of COVID, our business had to grow and adapt and learn how to make working from home functional for its employees. So I got to work from home for the first time ever, and I love it. Like, it's just so great that I can put on a load of washing or do the dishes or be able to clean and things. And, you know, dialing in for video meetings is certainly not as good as meeting people face to face, but I do feel like it makes the meetings more concise. And I just really enjoy being in my own space, honestly, and being able to make like a healthy lunch and not have to rush out the door and do a commute. So I would really love to continue to work from home at least one day a week, which is a flexible arrangement that I've discussed with my employer. So that's just something that was a real priority for me. The next one I have is traveling and exploring. So I put a little section here for traveling and exploring, and that is because I have always loved traveling. And I know that international travel is obviously not possible for us here in Australia at the moment. I don't know when it will be a possibility again. So in my lifetime, I've traveled 36 countries, and that is quite a lot. And I did a significant amount of that travel by myself. So I guess if you guys ever want some solo female traveling tips, or like learning about traveling solo in general as a female, then I could definitely make a video about that, because I was single for quite a long time and I just didn't want to miss out on doing things that I wanted to do or seeing the places that I wanted to see. So I just booked a ticket and I went, and I just had the most incredible time. I met a lot of amazing people, and it just reminded me that traveling and exploring for me is a really great way to like reset my mindset and, I don't know, just really like connect in with a different side of myself. And being a creative, I find that it really just helps me get out of any mental blocks and things as well. I'm sure if you do anything creative or writing or anything like this, or you have a side hustle, that you could definitely relate. So even though we can only travel domestically, Australia is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and I'm very blessed to live here. So I just wanted to remind myself that traveling domestically is also incredible, and there's a lot of Australia that I still haven't seen. So I've never been to Tasmania, and I would love to get back up to Sydney where a lot of my family is. And next week I'm going to the Gold Coast to visit my parents as well. So there are still options, and it definitely is great to just get out and even just get an Airbnb for a night somewhere and get away. The next one I've got here is reading and journaling, and that is an absolutely massive one for me. I feel like when I was younger, I used to read a lot, and I was very, very into reading and journaling and writing things down constantly. And then I don't know what happened, but I feel like in my 20s, I was just like, I don't know, pretty wild, and I was traveling a lot, I was going out a lot, I was always socializing and things, and I feel like I just kind of gave up on reading. And I don't know, I didn't really sort of write as much things as I used to. I actually used to even have a blog where I would write a lot of my thoughts and things, and I just sort of stopped doing that. But recently in the last 2 years, as I've kind of settled down and I just have other interests and things, I've really got back into reading. So I've got a Kindle, I buy hard copies of books as well, and I also have a bunch of journals which you've possibly seen in some of my other videos, like the 5-minute journal and just an actual moleskin journal as well that I write a lot in. So I wanted to watch a bunch of different vlogs of people who have great tips and prompts for journaling and just really get into that space again. The next thing that I have here are some fitness and body goals, and I totally understand that this is different for everybody, but fitness has always been a major part of my life. I grew up dancing, so I have literally danced from the age of 3 to 21, and then of course after that in my university years and working years I got into going to the gym. So for me it's not so much about like the physical appearance as it is about the way it makes me feel. So since I really committed to exercising in ways that are good for my body, I noticed that my posture is better, but I say that as I have to like sit up and adjust my posture, but my posture is better. I sleep way better. I literally used to be so sleep deprived and have many problems with insomnia, and all of that has kind of faded away. I find that my muscles are working better. I'm really alert and awake during the day. And of course the physical benefits that come with it, like feeling and looking toned and stuff as well, is also incredible. So I put up a mixture of pictures. So I've got some of really toned girls, and that's kind of how I felt like my body has been developing since I switched up my training. I've also got a badass Nike girl here doing some boxing, which is something that I've recently got back into and I absolutely love. And then just a bunch of Pilates and yoga and other things to remind me that it's really important to slow down and do some movement as well. So that is that for that category. The next one I've got is about design work. So I guess another thing as well on top of like reading and journaling for me is to continue to be inspired by designs, and Pinterest is a really great place to find images like this. I also signed back up to a bunch of architectural newsletters and things like Monocle newsletter and stuff. So I just wanted to really get back into my industry and kind of keeping on top of trends, but also just the feeling I get when I look at some really beautiful imagery is so inspiring, and it gives me some ideas for my own projects and things as well. So that is something that is always just a priority to me, but sometimes I just get too busy and I simply forget. The last one that I've got here is the bougiest one on the entire board, and that is about money mindset. So I've got a bunch of things here. So the mood says CEOOOOO. And then I've also got ones that are like how to build a beautiful brand, and pictures of, you know, architectural sketching, a laptop, which is a massive goal of mine. So I'm just waiting for the new MacBook to come out, and then I'm going to buy one because I haven't owned a laptop in, I don't even want to know, maybe like 10 years or something, because after I finished uni, I just never needed one. So I sold mine, and I would really like that for the flexibility of course, being able to work on the go or to go and sit in a cafe and edit my videos and things. So that's something that is on the near horizon as soon as that gets released. And also just about changing the way that I think about money. And that has to do with setting up multiple streams of income, and I guess just really committing to finding different ways that I can increase my lifestyle. And I guess that is a function of how much money you're earning and where from, but also just really enjoying that. And I do kind of consider myself to have quite strong leadership kind of qualities. So I feel like that's really best channeled into me doing something on my own and potentially starting my own business one day. So I just really wanted to remind myself to have some money goals and have some goals about the kind of lifestyle that I want to set up for myself and that kind of flexibility of working, and keep that on the future horizon. So that is it. And that is my whole vision board, which I'm so stoked with. I think these little pegs and the titles look super cute, and I really enjoyed making this, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it as well. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to hear any of the categories you have on your vision boards, so feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I would love to chat with you guys and see what some of your goals are for whatever your time frame might be, if it's next month, the next 6 months, or just by this time next year. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
But there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that, because you don't know who